Welcome to the most important, maybe, episode of the year. Welcome to everything I need in 2024. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria. I'm coming to you from Norway. I live here with my family. I am a Romanian living and knitting in Norway since May 2022. If this is your first time, welcome. If you decided to return, thank you so much. I am so excited and nervous equally to make this episode because I have a lot to talk about it. But I won't talk into very detail of the garments because I did this in the previous knitting episodes. But I will mention the name of the pattern, the name of the designer, and just a little bit of what size I have been knitting or if I've made modification, and just like a short story for every garment. I won't mention if it is a size inclusive or not pattern. I'm very sorry, don't want to offend nobody, but as a knitter, I don't believe in size inclusivity, but I do believe in skills and I believe in modifications. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's my personal preference, and this is how it should be in this podcast. And then, very short, I will talk about how the garment wears and if I have plans to knit again with the yarn already used. Okay, so for those of you who are new, 2024 is actually the first year I decided to knit exclusively for myself. Until now, until 2024, for 7 years, I have been knitting as a job, as a small business for professional photographers. I have been knitting thousands and thousands of baby things that were used to the photography sessions. So yeah, this year was quite a journey, very interesting for so many reasons in terms of knitting, because when I started, of course, I didn't knew what is my style, what I will love to have in my wardrobe, what colors uh, should I use, what are my colors, and it was a trial and error most of the time, but I think it's absolutely normal. But now, after 1 year of fully knitting for myself, I think I'm on a very good path, at least in terms of uh, style, let's say this. Not sure yet about colors, but yeah, I think I have a very different image comparing to a year ago. So I think that's a huge progress. Um, this year, I have been knitting 12 cardigans, 13 sweaters, and one vest. Some of the garments, not many, I don't have them anymore. I gifted to my knitting friend, a very good friend here in Norway. Her name is Sinje. Sinje is also knitting, but not for her. She's knitting for other people, never have time to knit for her. So I gifted, and she was so excited, and I'm so happy because she is wearing them. And um, we meet to have like a knitting cafe, just the two of us, and knit and talk, and yeah. And many times she worn what I gifted to her, so that makes my heart jumping with joy, because it's very nice to know that my my garments are having a new life, and they are very much appreciated. Some of them I've decided that I will unravel them and reuse the yarn in other projects. Um, so I could divide this year into the first half and the second half. On the first half, I tend to knit very big sizes, because my body, I don't know, I felt that I am a very big size. And after the first half of the year, my body changed. I lost very much weight, and I realized that almost everything I have knit so far, at least in the first part of the year, they won't work anymore. So I decided that I will unravel them and make other garments. Yeah. Okay, so I will start with my first finished object of the year. Actually, not my first finished. I will talk about my garments, and the order I follow is the order I cast on. So this is how I took notes. So my first project, it is a project I was carrying with me from 2023, when I was working for photographers. I really tried to make something for me. So I started this sweater in September 2023, but I actually managed to finish it in January 2024. And this is, I hope they won't fall, this is sweater number 18 by my favorite knitwear designs, I think it's called. So this is my first project. Also, I will try to insert pictures so you can see how this was fitting, because I only have one picture with this garment from January after I finish it. This is made in the size XL, and it is made with two strands of yarn. One strand, it is Filcolana Perniglia, which is the dark one, and the red one, it is Knoll Noble, which is a British yarn. It is like, I think 95% merino and 5% cashmere. This yarn was meant to be for a test knit that never happened. So I thought I will give a use. This is modified. As you can see, the original pattern does not have this V-neck. But I have another sweater with the neckline just as the pattern recommends, and I don't like it because it always rises here on my neck, and I don't like it. And I thought, okay, maybe I should modify it. And I like this V-neck, but as you can see, it is very big, and I don't mind an oversized sweater, but this is not looking like oversized on my body now. So yeah, another modification, I remember that I had to add length to the body. Now, I realized, because I have another garment, actually another two garment made with Perniglia from Filcolana, I realized that this yarn for me in a garment, it's not warmed enough. So whenever I'm wearing, or I was wearing, the sweaters made with this yarn, I always felt cold in the winter. So unless I'm pairing this yarn with something else, although here it is paired, but it's made on a big gauge. This sweater, it is knit on big gauge, and it's not feeling warm at all. So unless I'm pairing this with something else and working a smaller gauge, to be honest, I'm not interested to use this yarn again. However, this needs to be unraveled. Now, I'm not sure. I would like to separate the two strands because I would like to use this red separately in another project and the brown in another project. I don't know if it is possible. I've tried to do this the first time and it didn't work. So I think I will gift this because I feel like I will destroy the yarn. And yeah, although I want to feel the slow fashion with my knitting, I don't think destroying, ruining the yarn, it is slow fashion. So I might gift this away. I worn this many times. It wears very well. It's not peeling, although I don't have a problem with peeling. I think it's absolutely normal. Um, yeah, I like this modification of the v-neck, but yeah, it's not something I am wearing anymore. And it's too bad because at this time of my life, this sweater would have been very handy. Yeah, so this was my first project. My next project, I have my notebook here, and I don't have the best light, unfortunately, but I hope everything goes well. Okay, my second project, I cast on this project. Oh my God, this is even older. I cast on this project on, yeah, on the summer of 2023. But I managed to finish it in January 2024. And I will put a picture because I don't have the garment anymore. It is called the Desert Spring Sweater, and it is a pattern by Jessica McDonald. It is a fingering lace around yoke that is worked top down, and it features some lace motif. And I've made this sweater in a very light pink using Sunday by Sadness Garn and 3mm needles. I worn this sweater a lot. It was a light sweater, and it was fitting very well in my wardrobe when I didn't need a very warm sweater. But with my loss of almost 20 kilograms, that sweater was not good anymore for me. So I unraveled. I won't talk about what modifications I've made because I've made a lot. Because I don't have the sweater anymore. I unraveled the sweater and I've used the yarn in another project that you will see later. So this was my second project. Okay, let's see. Garment number 3 of 2024 was my blizzard sweater, and this is a pattern also by Jessica McDonald. This features a round 2-color yoke. I still have the sweater. So this is the sweater. I remember that I've made size 9 when I started this in at the end of December. I cast on this sweater at the end of December 2023. I thought that it will be my New Year cast on. and I finished it at the end of February 2024. This was not an expensive project. It was about almost 37 American dollars, or almost 34 euros. The main color, it is Pernilla by Filcolana, and the contrasting color, it is just a very old stash yarn that is not produced anymore, from a Spanish producer, Katia, if you heard about it. Um, this also has a lot of modifications. It wears well, although I feel that this sweater has felt a little bit with wearing, especially at the underarms, which I guess for some yarns it's expected. Now, 8 months later, since I finished this, I can say that this is on my list to unravel because it is too big. And because it is too big, it's not sitting like an oversized sweater. All this yoke, it is gathering and puckering. So it's just like I have a color work ruffle around my chest, which is not nice at all to see. So I'm thinking to unravel this and to reuse the Filcolana yarn in another project. Yeah. So this was my project number 3, I think. Yeah, this is a very easy pattern. Very easy. If you are a beginner, if you have never needed color work before, I recommend you this pattern because you only have 2 colors in a row, and most important, you don't need to catch floats when working this yoke. So I think this is very important for somebody with zero experience in color work, because you at the beginning there is a lot to learn. So I guess this is one project that will teach you how to work with 2 colors, and later somebody with less experience can pick up another project. So once manage to work with 2 colors, then I think you can manage also to learn how to catch the floats and when is necessary to do this. So yeah, a very beginner friendly pattern. Yeah, I think with all these projects you will see my evolution as an eater. This is how I think. Okay, let's see. Project number 4 of 2024. Oh, it is a project that I don't have it anymore. This one I gifted. So project number 4 was my Elisabeth blouse, and this is a pattern by Petite Knit. It is a top-down raglan that has a folded collar, very big. Uh, I remember it was a lot of work because it is double. Um, I remember I end up in between size 4 and 5. Um, It was made with 2 strands of yarn, 1 strand of superwash hand-dyed merino, and 1 strand of Filcolana mohair, Tilia mohair. And I've used needles 3.5 millimeters. So for this project and for the ones that I already talked about it, I have never swatched. I don't swatch. I don't gauge swatch because I don't believe in gauge swatching. Okay, I started this project in January 2024. I think on 6th January, and I finished this project on February 17th. Uh, this was a very and the most expensive garment I have ever knit because of the hand dye superwash plus mohair. So this project, I remember that cost me a little bit over 200 euro. It was a yarn I got a year before, and it was a yarn that I've tried 2 or 3 times to make something with, although it was very nice to work with because it was very silky, smoothly soft. I really didn't like how the garment looked with the superwash. This was actually my first ever experience with hand dye superwash and hand dye yarns in general. Okay, so the Elisabeth blouse was my last try to use that yarn, and it was a success project. But again, once I lost the weight, that was huge on my body. So I gifted to my friend Senior. Yeah. My lesson. Uh, the short time I managed to wear this garment, I noticed that it grew with every wear I was having. And in general, knitting is growing hand knit garments, but this was beyond what I expected. So that was a very minus. And one thing I know for sure, I will never buy superwash again to make garments for myself. It's just, again, a personal preference. I know there are people out there who has no problem, as I do, who thinks it wears very nice, it doesn't change the shape, and it's not growing. I don't know. This was my experience, and I don't want to continue to experience with my money. So I rather invest in a very rustic, good quality wool, and that's it. Okay, project number 5. Um, it is another garment that I don't have it anymore, but I have pictures. So it is Alvar pullover by Sari Norton. I remember I knit size 5. This is a drop shoulder. You start with the back and then pick up for the front, join, work the body, and then pick up for the sleeves. I've made this one in one strand Rauma Lamul. Rauma, it is a Norwegian yarn producer, and one strand of alpaca folgetrød, which is an alpaca lace from Sandnes Garn, another Norwegian producer. So I held 2 strands together. I've used the same number of needles, 3.5, no gauge swatch. I started this project in February 1st and I finished it at the end of March. And now it is unraveled. It was big from the start. I think from the beginning I've choose the wrong size. So it is a drop shoulder, and for my size the shoulder was dropping up to here. Yeah, so I had some issues. I had to modify the sleeves because they were very wide and it was not how I prefer. Yeah, I've made some modifications. I think I worn this once or twice, and then I decided that it's not going to work for me. And this week I unraveled this sweater, and it's sitting in the back of my chair in a basket, waiting for me to decide what to do with this yarn, and I will decide it at some point. I like the pattern so much that I knitted another one, but I will reach to the other one later. Um, I like her patterns, they are very nice, but I don't think the fit it is what I prefer. So I'm sure I will work more patterns from Sari Nederland, but this time I am prepared that will I will need to make a lot of modifications to fit me as I like, and it's not a bad thing. Yeah, I think that's it for this project. I don't have it. I hope I put a picture here for you to see. My next one, it is the Porcelain sweater by Lene Holme Samsø. I guess you know that there was, and I think it's still one of probably the most popular patterns on Instagram or in the knitting community. And I've said I have to do it. If everybody likes it, there is a reason for it, right? Um, I have it here. So this is my version of the porcelain sweater. As you can see, it's nothing with a color that um, reminds you of the porcelain, but it was my preference. So this, I don't remember what size I've made, to be honest. And I don't know if I took a note, I don't know where because it's not in my notebook. But I think I've made probably around size 4, I'm not sure, maybe 5, I'm not sure. Oh boy, this was a very challenging pattern, but let's say for the main color I've used 2 strands of yarn. One is Sarah by Permin. This is a merino with Shetland wool, and the other one is alpaca lace. So this for the main color. And for the contrasting color, I had in stash some Marilyn from Isayer, which I held double, and I've made the motif. Now, I've made some modification on the body. So when I finished, it was too short. I had to unravel the hem, checking the microphone, and I had to add length. And then a couple of months later, I come back to it because I was losing weight and it was not sitting right. And I took out length. So quite a journey with this sweater. I cast on this sweater on November, on no November, February 19th, and I finished it in April 20th. So almost a month, which, no, 2 months, which, yeah, it's not bad at all. I think this is my less worn garment. I still don't like the fit of this sweater. I don't like it. I don't know why, because it is a drop shoulder. So it is similar to others I have, but for some reason I don't know what I don't like about it. This is the truth. I mean, I don't like it, but I don't know what I don't like. So this is very weird. However, I've begin to wear this in December again. Maybe I need to get used. I think one of the problem is that as much as I love color work projects, I find myself that I don't like to wear them. I find them very busy and I don't know how to style them with the rest of my clothes. And I think this is my problem. Now for this one, I'm trying to wear it with some black trousers. It's the only thing I can think about it to wear it. Otherwise, I don't know how to wear this. Yeah. Um, it's not an easy project. It's not a difficult project. Um, it's not easy because the first part you work color work back and forth because it's a drop shoulder. You start with the back and then with the fronts. So until you join at the underarm to continue with the body, you are actually working color work back and forth, which means that you are working color work also on the pearl side of the work. Yeah. Other than that, I cannot say how it wears because I did not worn this enough. Has no peeling. It's just brand new. I think I worn this 2 times so far, which it's nothing compared to other garments. So maybe in a couple of months, if I remember, I will go back and tell you how this is wearing. However, I had I have a garment made with the same combo of the main color, and I can say that is growing. So this yarn, Sarah by Permin, it is a very affordable yarn, but it doesn't hold very well in time with the other garment. Now this has color work, so I guess the color work will keep in place better the yarn, or at least stop to grow with wearing. I don't know. We shall see in a couple of months. Other than that, I've used the same needles as the pattern recommends. I did not swatch for this sweater, and I don't remember how much it cost. Unfortunately, I hope this year will be very good at taking very good notes. Okay, let's see. My next project. Okay, so my next project, it is the Copenhagen cardigan by Petit Knit, and I was so in love with this garment the moment I finished it. I've made in between sizes, but I don't remember exactly if it was in between size 3 or 4 and 4 or 4 and 5. I'm sorry, I don't remember. um, I've used as yarn, this is Tinde by Hillesvåg, another Norwegian producer. This is 100% wool. As needles, I work with interchangeable, and one end was 2.75 millimeter, and the other end was 3.25 or 3.5. I don't remember this two exactly, because this way I had very neat stitches, very even fabric, and it worked for what I needed at that moment. This is a top-down raglan. It features some short rows right after you do the neckline. And then you work the raglan increases. This pattern has the bottom band work at the same time with the rest of the cardigan, but I decided to do it separately. So this was the first modification I've made. I worked the bottom band, the double knitted bottom band, because I think the pattern has a 1x1 ribbing bottom band. I worked it separately. I've made a pocket, and I love to wear this. I can say that this was one of the most worn garments in my wardrobe until it wasn't. I think the yarn behaves very well. There is a little bit of peeling, but not too much, where I hold my bag on my shoulder. But it's nothing tragically, because this is a very fluffy wool. So this peeling is actually some fluff. Now, what is the problem with this cardigan? Well, the problem is that this neckline has grown and grown and grown and grown, and now it's sitting weird. Of course, me losing weight is not helping for the rest of the body. And I've decided that this I will unravel and reuse the yarn. I have another hank of this yarn, and I was thinking to make a storm sweater by Petit Knit, the same designer, but I'm not decided anymore. So, um, I need to think about it. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I will do something else. But definitely, I will unravel this. In terms of yarn, I love it. This is a yarn that I will definitely use again, and I totally recommend. It is a rustic yarn. However, for me, it feels soft because I can wear as rustic as possible. So maybe I'm not the best in terms of recommending which one is prickly and which one is not, because for me, all of them feel soft. So, yeah, maybe I'm not the right person to recommend this. But it is a very, very nice yarn, and definitely I will use it again. Of course, I did not swatch for this cardigan. Nothing new, right? Okay, let's see. My other project is a cardigan. The name of the pattern is actually a pastoral sweater, but it is a cardigan, not a sweater. And it is by one of my favorite designers. And I really think this designer is very gifted. Um, Her name is Sarah Solomon, or you can find her on Instagram as Into the Wool. And this is probably one of the most exciting projects I have ever made. And it's absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the garments I won't need to unravel, because me losing 20 kilograms means that I cannot wear this. Let me tell you a little bit about this project. So this is a knit by piece project, which means you knit the back separately, then you knit the sleeves separately, the front separately, and everything is sewn. And then you pick up and make the bottom bands and the neckline. And this is a bottom up construction. This was my second project by piece. And I have to say that if somebody is asking me, okay, which one is your favorite? Color work, round yoke, top down, drop shoulder, raglan, I will say this type because this will give you the best fit. It is like made for your own body. It is very, how do you explain this? It's like personalized garment. Maybe maybe it is more work involved, more steps, but it is totally worth it. So this still fits me with more amount of positive ease, but in a good way. It's not hanging off my body. It's just looking oversized, but not huge. And I love this. I really, really love this. I This one had a lot of wear, even in the winter. I worn this in autumn. I worn this, yeah, a lot under my winter coat as a fall jacket. It is absolutely stunning. It features cables, some fake cables, a little bit of lace in the cables. It's not complicated. This is a project for, I think, 3.5 millimeter needles. This one is size 5. I love even the metal buttons. This is my the moment I fall in love with metal buttons. Yeah, and I want to use them more in my garments. Okay, about the yarn I've used one strand of Sarah by Permin and one strand of alpaca lace by Stanis Garn. And again, it's a very nice combination to feel it, but that Sarah by Permin is growing. So take in mind, it is affordable, but it's growing. Yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with this one. It's one of my favorite garments, and yeah, just so happy to wear it. So I cast on this in March 17th, but I actually finished it on August 10th. It took me a while to finish it, mainly because I had so many projects on my needles. This is actually my only garment for which I had to swatch, but I don't know if I've made a proper gauge swatch because I never washed that. So I guess I swatch more to see, to understand the chart. Yeah, not to see if my yarn is the correct one. Yeah. So totally recommend this pattern and this designer. Of course, the other ones I also recommend. Yeah. Okay. My next project, it is also a cardigan by the same designer, Sarah Solomon, or Into the Wool on Instagram, and it is called Wild Almond Cardigan. And it's a round lace yoke. It is worked top down. I've made in between sizes. Again, I finished with this in between sizes, but I don't remember if I was in between size 5 or 6 or 4 and 5 somewhere. This is, as I've said, a top down lace yoke. No swatch. The yarn I've used, it is Isayer Jensen. And I got this yarn with 25% on sale. I still have some of leftover. I mean, I think I have like almost 150 grams. Yeah. This is wearing very well. This yarn is rustic, but with wearing it gets softer and softer. Was very nice to work with. I think it has a very good stitch definition for lace, for stockinette, but I'm sure it will be absolutely gorgeous for cables too. 3 millimeter, no, 3.5. I've said no swatch. Um, I have to unravel this because it is too big. I've worn this a lot in the house in the, I think, October, November. And I thought I will keep it in the house, but this yarn is so precious that I feel I need to do something that I could take out with me out of the house, to worn this out of the house, outside the house, sorry. Yeah, so this is my plan to unravel this. Also, with this pattern, I've learned so much. I've learned to do this double knitted hem. I've learned to do there is a technique here, but I cannot talk about it without saying too much of the pattern. And it's a paid for pattern. But yeah, all I can say is that in Sarah's Solomon patterns, there is always something new to learn, and there is something so useful in your future projects. Some techniques, very yeah, interesting techniques that not many of the more popular designers are using them. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's it. uh, so I cast on this on March 23. I don't know if I've said this, and I finished it on April 17th. A lot of knitting until now. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm so sorry I need to unravel this, but as much as I like this cardigan, I feel like this yarn should have a new life in a different garment. It's too bad to use it just in the house. Yeah. Okay. My next project, it is also a cardigan. I love cardigans. If you are new here, they are my most worn garment from my wardrobe. So I wear them all the time with my dresses, with jeans, with everything. Okay, my next project, it is Smilgas cardigan by Zanet Knits. I've made this cardigan once, I think 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly, and it turned out huge. I mean, I think it had like circumference like almost 200 centimeters, and I'm not exaggerating. And this is a pattern by Zanet Knits. And this time I've made size 3. So this is a top-down raglan colorwork. And I think it's stunning, really. And I love it. I love to wear it. But unfortunately, I'm wearing this almost when I'm at home, because as much as I love it, again, I find it a very busy garment, and I really have problems not knowing how to wear this beautiful cardigan. So this is a real problem. So I've said I've made size 3. Now, for the main color, this black, I've used Sölje from Hillesvåg. This is it's a Norwegian producer. This yarn is like a sport way. It is soft being wool, but it it holds very well, but at the same time, I think this is one of the garments that in real life you can see that it had a lot of wear. It is, yeah, yeah, this is the these are the right words. I mean, when you see this in real life, you see this as a garment that somebody is using very, very much. And I don't know if this is a positive thing on in on long term, as speaking of the life of the longevity of the garment. Yeah. And as a contrasting color, I've used the leftovers from my first Alvar pullover by Sari Northland. Now, this is again, it's not a hard project, but at the same time it is, because being a raglan means that all the yoke and the body, it is worked back and forth in color work. Of course, there are sections which gives you a little bit of breathing in between, but it's a little bit difficult here, where you also need to increase and to keep with the chart. And yeah, from this point of view, it's not quite easy. However, I think Zanet Nitz has one of the best written patterns. She explains, at least for me, was very well explained what you have to do and the steps to follow and so on. I felt she holds the hands throughout the pattern. Now I worn this so much in December in the house. You don't see it. I think it needs a wash because I have cream on it from when I baked 2 chocolate cakes with cream. And who knows what other foods are on it. But it's warm, and I do love it. I love it. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't wear this a lot outside house, but I'm making sure to wear it in the house. And the more you wear this, the um, softer feels. Yeah. So this is a great pattern. If you are into this type of knitting, I totally recommend you this cardigan. I cast on this on April 9, and I finished it 1 month later. So exactly 1 month I have been working on this, which I think it's crazy, but it is what it is. Yeah, I think that's it for it. I don't know if in the next future I will use this yarn from Hillesvåg. So yeah, I think there are others also by Hillesvåg that are having my attention more than this. But it's a nice yarn anyway. Yeah. Okay, let's see. It's almost dark outside, and it is almost 4 o'clock in the evening. Okay, my next project, it is another cardigan, and it is called the River Cardigan by Sonnesgarn. And This is a very beautiful drop shoulder, top down cardigan using this simple cable. And it features this wide bottom band, double knitted bottom band. This is a pattern by Smilgas, and I've used the recommended yarn in the pattern with it, which is thread of thin peargint together with one thread of also Smilgas thin silk mohair, which is the print collection, like hand dyed or something. Yeah, I've made size 2, uh, and this is a cardigan with a lot of positivities because size 2, it is actually an XS, and it has a total bust circumference of 120 centimeters. So it is, yeah, it has a lot of positivities. Now, this is my first knitting pattern in Norwegian that I choose to work in Norwegian, and it was a little bit of trial and error, but in the end, it resulted very well, and that result, this result had me so happy with the pattern that I'm currently having on my needles another one, but a cropped one for dresses. But yeah, in another episode, I will talk about it. Now, although I've lost weight, this still fits very, very nice, and I won't unravel it. I cast on this one on April 19th, and I finished this in June 18th. I've used needles 4 millimeters. Yeah, I didn't swatch. And I haven't done modifications to this pattern. And in my opinion, I think it is one of the best Smilgas patterns in terms of fit, with positive ease, but not being too oversized. Um, yeah, it is. It is a very nice pattern. This cardigan had a lot of wear, so much wear, and it's like brand new. It didn't peel. It is just as new. If you see it in real life, you will think that I just finished this, not in June, and not wearing this a couple of times every month. Yeah, I think this talk about a lot about the quality of the yarn. Their mohair, it is very good because it also has wool in it, and the peargint, thin peargint, it is one of my favorite fingering yarns to work with. It's 100% Norwegian wool. Yeah, I do recommend this pattern. It is a beautiful pattern. Although I'm not a mohair person, I don't gravitate toward mohair. I don't like the static electricity. This is the only reason. And of course, another reason, it will be the price. It is very pricey, and I know it's this trend to held two strands together and one of it to be mohair, but um, it's not something I can afford. So that's why I'm using it very rare, if at all. Yeah, I think that's it for this. I love it. One of my favorites. It got so much wear, and it looks like brand new, which I think, yeah, It is a very, very, very positive thing. Okay, let's, I think they will fall because there are too many. My next project, my next project, it is a sweater that gives me a lot of headaches. Um, no, the next project, it is one that I don't have it anymore. It was my first test knit of the year. I only test knitted 2 times this year. So I test knit a cardigan made out of Sonia's garn linen, which is cotton, viscose, and something else yarn. It's a summer yarn. So the cardigan name is Line Cardi by Stitched in Sweden. You can find her on Instagram with this name. You can find her on YouTube. She has a knitting podcast. I test knitted size 5, needles 4 millimeter. I begin, I think, in April 25, and I finished at the end of May. It is a top-down construction, but it has this, I don't know how you say, contiguous sleeves method. It is very, probably one of the best patterns in terms of fit I have ever made so far. Um, I donated. I donated it because I did not like the yarn I've used, and I don't like summer yarns at all. And because I don't like them, I won't use them anymore. At least this is my position. Yeah, so that was that. And my next one, it is my next garment. It is the Smokey sweater by Kate Davis. And this is my first pattern from Kate Davis. I've made size 2. There are only, I think, 3 sizes in this pattern, but it is super oversized pattern. I've used 3.5, not the recommended needles, not gauge swatching. I did not gauge swatch. I started this in May 11th and I finished this in September 22. Okay, this is a bottom-up construction and it features these cables, which are not quite cables, are more leaning to the right, leaning to the left stitches. And this, there is a lot of half twisted rib. I worn this once a few weeks ago and I did not enjoy it because the front was getting higher and higher on my neck, especially when driving my car. That was the point that bothers me because I felt like I could not move, driving, and I couldn't fix this problem. And I when I park at my home, the sweater was here and I was just boiling. I was very pissed, but oh boy. A part of that, I have, I think, 2 or 3 dye lots of the same color in this sweater. I got some hand dye color, so I can, some dye color, so I can hand dye this. But I should first, in order to make this wearable according to my preferences, I should take out the neckline and change it and make some short rows, because this is a problem. I mean, there are some short rows, but not enough. So, yeah, that's that. And then I would like to take out the ribbing, which is also in 1 by 1 twisted, half twisted rib, and to work a normal one. And then I need to unravel the sleeves because I don't like how it looks here. It looks like this sleeve here, it is wider than the actually opening. So that's another thing that bothers me. But I did not felt motivated to do all this. So for the moment, this will sit in my closet until I can take a decision about it. The yarn I've used for it, it is, and the first time working with this yarn, it is Gepard wool. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's my favorite type of yarn. It's not bouncy. I don't know how to explain, but also I work this yarn with 3.5 millimeter, and I think this yarn goes very well with at least 4.5. It's a very versatile yarn because the recommended needles, I think, for this yarn are in between 3.5 and 5. So maybe me using this yarn at a such small gauge was not the best. I don't know. I really like this pattern, and I will try my best to save this sweater and to not unravel it. But I'm also preparing mentally that maybe I will unravel. I don't know. I got some dyed, but it's green, and I'm not sure if I want this green. Yeah, but you cannot see it on the camera, but from here, there is, here it's a different dye lot. The rest of the body, it's a different dye lot. Here, it's a different dye lot, and the neckline has a different dye lot, and the same thing, it happens here. So it's, in real life, it is very visible. It's not visible in the pictures, it's not visible in a video, but in real life, it is very visible. So it's like all this part that is darker is actually dirty. This is the look. It's like I have the dirtiness on the yoke of the sweater, you know. Yeah. So yeah, this was not quite a successful project, but I'm hoping to do something with it because yeah, there was a lot of work involved and a lot of yarn and a lot of time. And Smokey Sweater by Kate Davis. My next project, I don't have it anymore. It was my first tee, and it is called Fanny Tee by Sunny's Garn. I've made size 5. It is a drop shoulder in 1 by 1 twisted rib. All the tee, it is made in 1 by 1 twisted rib. 4 millimeter needles, and I've used Sunny's Garn Line, again a summer yarn. I started this in May 16th and I finished it in June 7th. I can say it was a very bad fit. Very bad fit. The sleeves had no decreases, and once you raise the hand, everything, the bra and half of the body was visible from the opening of the sleeve. Um, it did not had, because it was one by one twisted rib, it did not had a proper hem. It had like an I cord, which was not the best, and it was growing on the waist. Very weird. Yeah, it was a bad fit, and I worn that I think one time at school, and by the time I reached home, that opening of the sleeves was bigger than when I went to school. And I've said, no, this is not for me. It's I have to accept that it's a fail. Not everything you are knitting must be a successful project, and that was my fail. The next project I've made, it was Illa sweater, and this is a pattern by Ted Beche or Olaine Suchet. I think she's French. I'm not sure. I hope I'm not butchering the name. This is a very beautiful sweater that has a very interesting and simple texture, lace a little bit that looks a little bit like cable also, and some eyelets on the yoke. So it's a round top down yoke. And I've made this again, giving a try to the summer yarns. This time I've used two strands together of Sunless Garn thin linen, which is the fingering version of the linen. I think I've made size 5, but I'm not sure because I did not took notes. I've used 4 millimeter, just as the pattern recommends. I started this in May 25th, and I finished this on June 13th. Quite quite fast project. I remember that it was a very enjoyable project. I've made a modification in terms of making a short sleeve. The pattern, it is a sweater pattern, so it has long sleeves, no swatch. I really love that tee. But the problem was that it was already very oversized when I made it. And then when I begin to lose weight, it became bigger and bigger and bigger. Happily, I gifted this to my friend Sinia, and she's using it, which makes me so happy because I love the way it turned out, even oversized. I really love the modification. I've added a lot of short rows before separating the stitch sleeves from the body. And those short rows were making a huge difference in terms of how that yoke was sitting. I mean, it was sitting perfectly. And yeah, I've made a lot of modifications and I really love that. But it didn't work with the yarn and with my loss of weight and how the yarn behave with wearing, growing, and growing. So I gifted it to my friend, and I'm hoping at some point to make another one for myself. Not a tee, but a sweater this time. Yeah. Next, I've made a self-draft v-neck that I don't have it anymore. I donated. I did not want to reuse the yarn. So I've used 3.5 millimeter, and the yarn I got it very, very cheap. It was, I think I got it with 70% or 75% off. And the yarn, it is called Duster Alpaca Fairy Tale. And this is like a brushed alpaca. It was thicker. It was very nice to wear it next to the skin. But it did not have weight. So I've worn that sweater even in the house, outside the house. I tried many things with it. When you worn that sweater, it was growing on width and it was shrinking in length. So it was a very weird fabric. So I thought, I just cannot stress whenever I wear a sweater that it becomes shorter and larger. So I felt it didn't make sense. So I don't have it anymore. My next one, it is a cardigan, and I have it here, and it is called Maggie cardigan. Yeah, another pattern by Petite Knit. The I was about to say that the original pattern has short sleeves, but I think in the pattern you have instructions for three quarter, um, not three quarter. I think to the elbow sleeves, and then if you want long sleeves, you have instructions for long sleeves. This was a very new to me construction. It is this, I'm not sure, I'm not prepared to say it. I think it's contiguous method, top down, something with set in sleeves or something. It sits very, very well around the shoulders. Very well. I mean, and I think for me at least, this is a very important thing with a cardigan, to sit on my shoulders. Yeah. Okay, so Maggie cardigan by Petite Knit. I've used 3.25 millimeter needles. I've used William by Hillesvåg. Um, and this is a yarn I should definitely use more because it is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure if it is a lamb's wool. I'm not sure, but it's probably. But it holds up so, it wears so nice. There is almost no peeling, and this at the beginning had not too much wear for me because I've made it not cropped, not to the hips. It's in between. So at the beginning, I didn't like the length of it with jeans, but so it was too short for jeans and it was too long for for dresses. So I didn't know what to do with this. But now I've learned to wear a longer t-shirt underneath and this one on top. And I have to say that this is becoming very fast one of my favorite because of the weight. It's not heavy, but being wool, it's very warm. And I also work at a kindergarten since December, and playing all day with children and helping them to dress, to undress, and so on with a bathroom and things like that. It's very nice to have something warm but not heavy, to not feel over heated. So that's why I'm saying that this is getting so much appreciation lately from me. Actually, this was in the back of my mind of unraveling and making again. I also think it would have been very nice to have a little smaller body. I feel it's so weird to explain because it's not oversized. I mean, here it's fitting perfectly, but here I would have loved some shaping, which I didn't realize when I made it that I might need it. Yeah, but it is very, very nice. I think one modification I've made, I'm not sure, but I think I've made I think in the pattern there is a one by one ribbing bottom band, and I've made the double ribbing, the double knitted. I don't remember. Um, Also, I don't remember what size I've made, but I think I was again in between sizes, but I don't remember if I was in between, I think in between 4 and 5 or 3 and 4. Sorry, so bad at this. I started this in July 14th and I finished it at the end of August, which again took not that much time. Yeah, it is very light. I think I don't think it has 300 grams, maybe almost. It's very nice to wear it. Yeah, very very nice. And the color, oh, this brown, it's has so much life. This brown, I think, is exceptionally beautiful. Yeah, very happy with this cardigan. So far is wearing very well. The yarn looks very well. Didn't grow so far with wearing. Yeah, I love it and I totally recommend the pattern and the yarn. Okay, I still have a pile of knits to talk about it. Let's see.